Hi everyone, welcome back, or if you're new, welcome on board. This is my kitchen, Helena's How to Cook European and More. It's my channel. Now today we're going to be making a flan Napolitano, or as some people would say, Napolitan pudding. Okay, simple, easy. We don't need an oven. We do this over the stove, and I'll show you step by step and the ingredients. So let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to put a can of condensed milk inside a blender glass here. It's 387 grams, like 392 milliliters. And I'm also putting in a can with carnation milk. This one here should be 360 grams, 399 milliliters. So we got about close to 800 milliliters into the blender. I'm also going to put in half a pack of cream cheese. The pack has got 180, so I'm putting 90 grams of cream cheese in. In this case, I'm using Philadelphia. It doesn't have to be. I know for a fact that if you happen to watch from Canada or the States or Mexico, you got the Great Value cream cheese that they sell, which is about half the price of the Philadelphia. Just as good as this one. I'm adding in here between half and 3/4 cup of sugar, which is about 135, 140 milligrams of sugar into the blender. Okay, that condensed milk has got a lot of sugar in it, so we don't need more than that. Some vanilla concentrate. I would say one tablespoon should do it. And now all we need are the eggs. I'm adding in 8 eggs altogether. Just get your count right. If it's 7, it's not the end of the world. Just don't put in more. We don't want more liquid than this. So 8 eggs. Now I put the stove on very low, well, the smallest I can get their temperature. I'm putting on crystal bowl, the one we're going to be using to have our flan. All of the mix goes into this one. Total, it has capacity for 1.5 liters. I don't want to fill it up, and the reason for that is that we're going to have this boil inside another pot with boiling water. And baño Maria, I don't want any water to go inside the flan. Now what we're doing here, I have half a cup of sugar, it's about 120 grams of sugar that I'm putting in. It's more than what most people use, but I like a lot of caramel sauce to go with my flan. So we're going to have this to boil up. And of course I forgot to mention, you want to have a tiny bit of water in there. Not a lot, okay? Mix this up a little bit. The water will boil obviously, but we need to get the water to boil out of here before it's done. It's going to start turning dark. Make sure we get this evened out. We don't want to have a lot of clumps in there. Clumps. Okay, so just let it go for a little while. Now as we're doing this, we want to make sure we move this around. You can see it was browner on one side. Let's just make sure we mix it together so it doesn't burn on one side. If this burns, it won't taste very good, okay? So Let's just move it around a little bit. It's coming along fine here. Leave it for just a few, like maybe 20 more seconds on there. Okay, so I've turned the heat off. What I'm going to do is just take this, move it to the sides a little bit like this, so that it gets up and around. And we're going to put this to the side to let it cool off before we add on or add in what we have in our blender. So whilst we're waiting for our caramel sauce to cool off a bit, let's just put the blender on for a minute, minute and a half to make sure everything mixes up well and there's no clumps in there. All right. So the blender is mixed up fine, everything. I'm going to put this to the side here for a little bit. And let's check on our caramel sauce. Okay, it's starting to harden up a bit. We're going to leave that to cool off for a few more minutes. In the meantime here, you want to put a pot on. Bring, let's say, 1/3 filled up with water. And let it boil up. Put it on a low temperature once it starts boiling so that it doesn't all evaporate, okay? I'm using a lid here to make sure most of it stays inside. Okay, so our caramel sauce, it's now cooled down. I mean, it's still warm, but I can touch it. But if you touch the surface, it's now hardened up. Perfect. So let's add on our mix from the blender in here. I might have made too much, not to worry if that's the case. Actually, okay. We still got like 2 centimeters left to the top of the rim here. And what I'm going to do with this now is take some tin foil and we're going to cover this. I don't want any water to come in here to this mix. Let's make sure that we have this fully covered here. Tighten it up. Get the tin foil up so that it's not hanging all over the form here. There we go. Now what we want to do is to lower our crystal form into the boiling water here in the other pot. We can do it by doing this. Try not to burn yourself, and we need to check how high the water is actually going here. Stick something in. Not enough, so we're going to have to add more water into here. Whilst this boils up the water again, leave it on a high temperature and check, make sure you see when it starts boiling to lower the temperature down a little bit. Now I'm going to put a lid on top to make sure that most of the water stays in here. It's a lid that you can see it's larger than the actual pot and our crystal form here for the pudding or the flan. Now what we're going to do is just wait. This is going to have to cook for about, I would say, close to an hour. We can check on it after, say, 45 minutes to see where we're at by putting a toothpick in. Check to see how much. We'll probably have a little bit more to go on the upper part of it. Alrighty? Okay, so I had to leave my flan boiling for an hour, 20 minutes. It doesn't mean you have to do the same thing. You want to check on it, make sure the middle is cooked up properly. And yeah, every stove is different, every pot is different. Time wise, yeah, it's about an hour, hour 10, hour 05. 1 hour 20 is what I had to leave mine. Okay. Now, here is my I loosen up the sides with the help of a knife. Just basically forcing it towards the walls of the mold and loosen up the whole thing. But it is moving, and that's what we want. The caramel sauce is loose in the bottom, and that's what we need in order to turn this one around. Okay. Now, how do we turn this? We need a plate. This is a Christmas one. You need a plate that's larger than the actual mold. It's the only way. You're going to push it as this. You're going to push it against the mold. You need one hand here, and you need the other hand underneath the mold. Okay, so it needs to be cool enough to be able to handle like this. And then what we do is take it like that, firmly flip it. Okay, flip it. All right, I'll get back to you in a minute. I got disorganized here. Okay, here we are. Flipped correctly. I just needed a minute to center it. Came sideways a bit. Here's our caramel sauce. I did decorate this up with 2 strawberries, 3 cherries, and a little bit of mandel flakes on top here. Now, decorating or not, it's entirely up to you. Okay, everyone, here I am with my flan pudding Napolitano. Real good, so tasty and really easy to make. You just have to have a bit of patience when you boil it up. Now, that's it for today, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being with me. Now, if you like the video, please hit that like button. Please let me know from where you're watching. I really like to know how far the videos goes. And if you need anything, any questions, leave them in comments. I always go in and answer. And have you subscribed yet? If not, what are you waiting for? Just joking. It will make it easier for you, though, to find my videos when you actually want to cook something. Alrighty? Bon appetit, and I will see you next video.